Hey guys, Eric Sargent, General Manager at Ed Martin Toyota in Noblesville, Indiana. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a full walk around on a 2018 Toyota Land Cruiser. We actually had this vehicle listed for sale a few months ago. The owner or the buyer of this vehicle decided to go ahead and do another round of upgrades. So we'll just do a full walk around, and we'll also link to the original video before we do the additional upgrades up in the corner here. Let's check it out. So starting in the front, we have a Heritage Grille. So this is a 2018, so it's not an actual Heritage Edition, but it looks almost exactly like one because in 2021 they did offer a Heritage Edition in silver. Has the Heritage Edition mirror caps, has the Heritage Edition grille, even has the Heritage Edition headlights with the black housing on it. Heritage Edition lower fog surrounds, and really other than on the side where there's a lower door molding. That would not be on a Heritage. Other than that, it looks identical, same wheels even. So the previous owner of it spent a lot of time making it look exactly like a Heritage. So moving on to the front, we do have a couple additions. We have the Trail Tailor hidden winch mount. So we're using the factory bumper. It's got a worn 12,500 pound Zeon winch with synthetic rope, wireless controller. We also have the Baja Squadron amber fog lights. So we're still switching those with the actual factory fog lamp switch. So there's not an extra button for these lights. They're using the factory ones. And then underneath the grille, or behind the grille, I should say, we have a 2-row 30-inch Rigid Industries E-Series light bar. So there's actually going to be 3 total light bars on this vehicle. This is the 2-row 30-inch in the grille. Up top, we're going to show off a 40-inch Rigid Industries E-Series Midnight Edition 40-inch. And we actually have 2 of these on the vehicle. So there's one here in the front, mounted on the bottom side of the front runner Slimline II roof rack. This is the regular roof rack, not the low profile version. And then there's another exact same light bar on the rear of it. Those are switched with the Switch Pro 9100. We'll get to that in a little bit. So kind of moving on, let's go to the side here. And then we added the current owner of this vehicle just added these Slee LX570 rock slider steps, and we also added some rock lights underneath of it. On the side of the front runner Slimline II roof rack, two modifications. One, we have the camp table. So this is it's called the Pro stainless camp table. And basically, you have this really nice stainless steel, high quality camping table that you can use and carry it with you without having to take up any additional space inside your vehicle. So if it gets dirty at a campsite, and you just stick it right here, it doesn't add any additional height because it's already built in there. And then the other thing is the scene lights. So there are 2 scene lights on each side. These are the Rigid SLR spreader lights. These are really cool for a couple of reasons. One, you have 2 colors. You have amber and you have white. So the white is actually quite bright. If you kind of get in here, you'll be able to see the LEDs. And then the amber, you really can't see the LEDs because it's more of a glow around the side here. And the glowing effect of it is really nice. If you're ever at a campsite and it's dark out, maybe you're getting ready to go to bed, it's really nice to have just a little bit of light so you can kind of walk around and see where you're going if you have to get up in the middle of the night for whatever reason. So it's awesome at night. It doesn't really attract bugs either. It doesn't really your eyes don't really have to adjust much. So having those 2 stages of lights is great. The only downfall of that is that you are actually having to switch them white or amber or both together, and then you have to do it on both sides. So we're taking up 4 switches, but in this case it's okay because we have a Switch Pro 9100, so we have plenty of switch capacity. Let's go to the back. Now that we're in the back of the vehicle, we have the second E-Series 40-inch Midnight Edition light bar. Again, switched with the Switch Pro 9100, which we'll show off here momentarily. You'll notice that we continue that chrome delete theme. So again, the Land Cruiser, this piece right here, and then the piece that wraps around the lights are all painted the 1F7 Classic Silver metallic, so they're not chrome. And then the Toyota Sombrero and the V8 badging are both gloss black. So total chrome delete on that. Same thing with the belt moldings on the side. I forgot to mention that, but we'll be roll over. And then we also have a ham radio mount. This is a diamond mount. It's just one of those, it's just a pinch-on mount right here. We'll take a little closer, upper close look on that here in a second. Once the hatch opens up, just open it up, you can kind of see how this diamond antenna mounts. Basically, just kind of, it's got some VHB tape, it pushes on, and then you have a little Allen wrench to kind of tighten it up. And then the antenna is just a removable diamond antenna. This one is actually chrome, and they do make a black version, but it's back ordered right now. So we went ahead and ordered the chrome one just to get the build complete, and we ordered the black version to cycle back through at a later point. With this open back here, a couple things. One, we do have these additional lights right here, two colors. Again, amber for easier on your eyes at night, no bugs, and then of course white just for maximum brightness. They're controlled with the triple rocker switch here. This vehicle does have the third row. Again, it has it's a base model, so they're all going to have the third row. And then also, while we're back here, there is it's a block view 4K camera. So this has a dash cam, but also the rear camera accessory. So again, it's a 4K version of it. It does have the accessory so that when the car is jostled, if you weren't in the vehicle and somebody maybe hit your car or something like that, it does start recording instantly, and it records it permanently, not only if you're in an accident, but even if there's just a jostle in the vehicle. So if something happened, you kind of have some video footage of security footage for a reference point. Okay, on top of the vehicle, we have a solar panel. This is a 100 watt SIGS Yuma 100 solar panel from Bougie RV. We mounted this. This is a flexible solar panel, and we like this one because it's quite literally bulletproof. So, you know, any hail, and there's no way of breaking this. It's not made out of glass. It's a roll-up plastic one. And if it ever does get damaged, if it gets penetrated, it still retains functionality of it, almost nearly 100%. So it's extremely durable. It's good for this use of application, and it's very thin. So a couple things that we do to mount these. So in the past, we've done kind of like we have a ZR Tactical in Noblesville, has a water jet, and they'll make us kind of a frame for it. So we have a two-piece. In the past, we had a polycarbonate board. In this case, we still do for the trim piece around it, which is cut out for the solar panel. And then underneath of it, we had another polycarbonate board to kind of set it on. They kind of sandwich together so it's nice and flat. It's not going to make any kind of wind noise. In this case, we decided for a little extra rigidity, because this is the first time that we've done this exact application on a front runner, is that we decided to use an aluminum base plate. So we have an aluminum base plate cut exactly for this roof rack. And then this little trim ring made out of polycarbonate plastic, perfectly fit for this exact panel and roof rack. We added a couple handles right here, and these are just basically a fairly inexpensive handle, and we just threaded into the aluminum. So the owner of it wanted to have a situation where he could pull it off there if he didn't want it on there, which is in case you wanted to use the roof rack for something else other than just normal kind of charging up the auxiliary battery system. So it's just screwed on here with 8 screws right here, 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 and here. And then to unplug the IP68 connectors for the solar panel, you just basically just pinch and unplug. And when you're ready to put it back in, just plug it back in. So you have those connections right there. The handles really are the only thing that they're doing is just making it easier to pull it off, just because of the awkward nature of how large this panel actually is. As a side note, if you wanted to put 2 of these on this roof rack, you absolutely could. You can daisy chain them, and there's plenty of physical room here to basically make a second version of this. This aluminum plate that that ZR Tactical created for us, it's just mounted inside the actual channels right here. So there's really nothing. Wouldn't require any kind of special installation skills to actually just add another one, or have us make one and we can send it to you. Didn't do too many modifications here in the middle row, but we did add a couple extra USB ports. So this is 3 USB ports on each side. So there's 2 additional C's plus a USB-A, and then the same thing over here. So we have a total of 4 USB-Cs, and then 2 additional USB-As added right underneath of the center console with the cool box. Okay, so now that we're inside the vehicle, we'll go over another list of accessories. First of all, we have the Apple CarPlay. So this is the EC off-road unit, which is great because it does wireless CarPlay, but also does wireless Android Auto as well. Also, there's a little hack in there where you can go in and you can pair it to your phone and on your phone's cell phone reception, and you can actually watch YouTube videos as well. So it's a nice unit. We've had experienced it to be a little buggy with the CarPlay, but it seems to work perfectly fine with wired CarPlay. This is the wireless CarPlay that has sometimes glitched out on us. but it's a fairly inexpensive unit, and it's definitely worth the additional money. Also, we have a black view camera. Now, this is the 4K version. So we have it positioned currently on the windshield where, based on my height and my posture in the driver's seat, this unit is completely hidden by the mirror. So as of right now, when I'm sitting down here, I cannot see this at all. It's completely hidden. There's a couple places that you can mount it. Some people mount them right here in the middle. It's probably a little better here just for not to obstruct any kind of driver visibility. These are kind of a one and done application. If they do fall due to like a super hot day and then the glue on the VHB tape fails, it's really never going to be, the adhesive that comes on this actual mounting plate is never going to be better, or any aftermarket adhesive is never going to be as good as the current adhesive that comes on it. So we really try and stick it on there once and leave it on there forever, and it should never fail. But also when you do attach these different devices, you got to think about where you want them to be. And also a lot of these cars will have additional antennas, so that are not exactly a smooth texture. And of course, any kind of tape is not really going to stick to an antenna like that. But again, this unit will record onto an SD card. It will record even if the car is in off mode. It's always recording, and then after a certain amount of, whenever the memory card cycles through, say 5 or 6 hours later, it's just going to record over it. But if the car does get into an accident, or it gets jostled enough where it thinks it's in an accident, then the car then it will permanently store that on a section of the SD card, so you can't actually override exactly what you're looking for. Underneath of the rear view mirror, you're going to notice another mount here, which is kind of like a hard mount for a Valentine 1 radar detector. And then we pre-wired with a Cat 5 so that the new owner of it, when he gets the vehicle next week, can just plug it in and he's good to go. We replaced the factory cup holder right here with a VH3D 3D printed cup holder. This is the one that has the ability to stick in a cell phone right there. And it also has a couple extra places for pens or small thin flashlights as well. In the sunglasses holder, we have the Switch Pros 9100. We are using all 8 switches. So again, I mentioned when we were talking about the scene lights, we have left and right for your normal, and then we have another one underneath of it, and maybe hard to see based on the angle of that camera, but it says left and right amber. So again, these top ones are going to be the white scene lights. The driver sides are switched together, and then the passenger side are switched together. Same for the amber version of it. And you can have both on simultaneously if you wanted to. Then we have the front light bar, we have the rear light bar, we have the Grille light bar, and then we have the rock lights. The rock lights are currently wired. If you wanted to turn them on while you're driving, you could. Probably wouldn't be legal in most states, but you could. It's really designed if you're on a trail at night, maybe it's dusk and you need a spotter, nobody needs to get a flashlight out, you can just turn on your rock lights and you can have a nice glow underneath your car. But the way that we have it set up currently is when you open a door or you unlock the vehicle with the key fob, the lights are going to automatically turn on. And then when you shut the door or you lock the car, they're going to turn off. So of course, when you're driving, they're not going to be on unless you decide to turn it on. Okay, so a 2016 Land Cruiser through 2021 are going to come with 3 blanks. One of them is going to be located right here, which we are using for a Red Arc trailer brake controller. This is the Tow Pro Elite. Then on the passenger side, we have 2 additional blanks that we have used, and we use buttons that are not OEM buttons, but they look exactly like an OEM button. The shape and feel and backlighting is going to match up. So we have the twin air compressor, and this is going to be, again, the Switch Pro is completely maxed out. We wanted to have all the lights together, so that's why the Switch Pro is all lights. So over here we have a twin air compressor, and this is actually a really nice location for it, because if you're going to air up, and you may not want to, typically your hands are going to be dirty because you've been taking valve stems off tires. So instead of pulling yourself into the car and then hitting it on a Switch Pro with dirty fingers, it's better just to open up the door and you can just reach in, hit the button, and you're good. So we have the twin air compressor right here, and then right next to it it says auxiliary battery. And basically what the auxiliary battery is for is that there's a Red Arc SBI12, which is a connector, a smart battery isolator. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to connect the auxiliary battery to the primary battery in the event the primary battery is dead. So if eventually everyone's had a dead battery and you're going to get another dead battery at some point in your life in this vehicle, you can just press a button. It'll link the 2 batteries, kind of like jumper cables. and you can start your car and then press the button, unlink it, and you're back to normal. Okay, and then for communications, we have a Yeasu FTM-500D. This is a ham radio, which of course you can use as for GMRS as well. This does have the Mars mod, so you can simultaneously transmit on both bands without, it's already been modified from ham radio outlet. It's 50-watt ham radio. The actual radio itself is mounted underneath of the passenger seat. We are using, we're mounting it with a RAM, with a various selection of RAM adapters. So we're using the RAM ball B size mount. It goes right here in the bolt of the actual grab handle for lifting yourself into the vehicle. And then we're using a short and actually 2 short connectors right there connecting it. The owner of this vehicle wanted it somewhere that's easily where he can take it off if he's not using it, so it's not going to obstruct any view. And based on the way that I sit in the seat and my posture, actually this doesn't obstruct any view from my A-pillar. But if you want to remove it, you just twist this right here, unplug it, and then you can put it in the glove box, or take it out and put it in the garage, and then whenever you're ready to use it again, you can just plug it right back in and screw back on the B-ball. A couple accessories that we have on this too. We're using a diamond antenna mount. We're also using lots of different antenna extension cables, external speaker, a loud external speaker that's mounted underneath of the driver's seat, and the transmitter microphone has a magnet mount. So magnet mic adapter. So it just the opposite gender of the magnet is right here. So it just clicks on and it's kind of out of the way, kind of like in a police car. Now that we're under the hood, we'll show off a couple more accessories here. First is the ARB twin air compressor. The quick fit connection is located right here on the top, so be a little careful as this area can get hot if you've been driving the vehicle. The normal Toyota crank battery is a Group 31. This is a 2018, so this battery has been replaced once already. This is a Group 31 lead acid Toyota TrueStar Group 31 crank battery, primary battery. And then over here on the passenger side, we have our auxiliary battery. So this is a Group 35 Odyssey Extreme AGM battery. It is mounted to the vehicle using the SLE off-road stainless steel mounting hardware, as well as the SLE off-road mounting hardware for the Red Arc BCDC charger. So we're using a BCDC 1250D in this unit. And you'll notice that we have the additional busman fuses right here for the BCDC for the SBI, which is the linkage, this 1-gauge wire that links the 2 batteries together for jump starting capabilities. And then, of course, the ARB twin air compressor. And then we have additional power going back to the rear and the Switch Pros right here. And the Switch Pro is mounted right here on the passenger side, right next to the airbox. And then, of course, you can't do a dual battery setup or an air compressor without actually adding a couple more lights. So we have the Wayland red-white combo lights right here. And they are on a triple rocker switch, easily located right here. And, of course, if you leave them on, and you shut the hood, which is what I would do. Of course, you don't want to drain a battery down, so we do have a pin trigger override right here. So if you shut the hood and leave the lights on, you're not going to have a dead battery. So that wraps up the video. If you guys like it, please hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future Land Cruiser content.